The empty folders on my laptop screen mocked me as I clicked through them frantically, my wedding dress still hanging in the closet behind me like a ghost. Every photo from the happiest day of my life gone. 8 months of marriage, and all I had left were the memories that were already starting to blur around the edges. "Marcus," I called out, my voice cracking. "Something's wrong with my computer. All our wedding photos are missing." My husband appeared in the doorway of our home office, his expression already settling into that familiar look of mild exasperation. "Did you check the recycle bin?" Of course I checked the recycle bin. I spun the laptop toward him. "They're gone. Everything. The ceremony, the reception, our first dance." "Stop being so dramatic about photos," Marcus scoffed, not even bothering to look at the screen. "They're just pictures, Lydia. We have our memories. Just pictures." I stared at him, this man who'd sworn to cherish me just 8 months ago. The same man who knew I'd lost my mother 6 months before our wedding. That those photos were the only ones that existed of her at my wedding, frail but beaming in her wheelchair. "Your sister was here yesterday," I said slowly, the pieces starting to fall into place. "She asked to use my laptop." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Don't start this again." "Start what? Stating facts?" "Serena was here. She used my laptop. Now my photos are gone." "Serena wouldn't do that. You probably deleted them yourself and forgot. You know how you've been lately, distracted, emotional." Emotional. The word hung between us like a weapon. Yes, I'd been emotional. My mother died. My mother-in-law treated me like an interloper. And my sister-in-law had made it her mission to remind me daily that Marcus could have done better. "I'm calling tech support," I said, reaching for my phone. Marcus shrugged. "Waste of money, but do whatever makes you feel better." 2 hours later, I sat across from Dylan Reeves, an IT specialist who'd come highly recommended by my coworker. He'd been typing furiously on my laptop for the past 30 minutes, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Mrs. Thorne," he said finally, turning the screen toward me. "This is unusual." "What do you mean?" "These deletion logs show systematic access to your system. Someone logged in 47 times over the past 3 months, always when you were away from home based on the timestamps." My heart started racing. 47 times? And they weren't just deleting photos. Dylan pulled up another window. "They accessed your email, your banking apps, your medical records. But here's the strange part. They didn't delete everything at once. It was methodical, careful. Like they were looking for something specific. Can you tell who it was? The logins used your password, but the IP address traces too." He paused, double-checking his screen. "Do you know anyone at 4829 Magnolia Drive?" I felt the blood drain from my face. "That's my sister-in-law's address." Dylan was quiet for a moment. "Mrs. Thorne, I think you need to contact the police. This goes way beyond deleted photos." Detective Patricia Holbrook arrived within an hour, her presence filling our living room with an authority that made Marcus shift uncomfortably on the couch. She reviewed Dylan's findings with the intensity of someone who'd seen this pattern before. "Mr. Thorne," she said, fixing her steady gaze on my husband. "Were you aware your sister had access to your wife's passwords?" "I know. That's ridiculous. Lydia must have given them to her." "I never gave her my passwords," I said firmly. Detective Holbrook nodded, making notes. "Mr. Reeves, can you show me what else was accessed?" Dylan pulled up his documentation. Financial records, medical information, personal correspondence. But the most concerning part is here. He clicked to another screen. Files were copied before being deleted. Specifically, documents related to Mrs. Thorne's inheritance from her mother. The room went silent. My mother had left me everything: her house, her savings, her investment portfolio. It wasn't a fortune, but it was substantial enough to ensure I'd never have to depend entirely on anyone else. Serena had made snide comments about it at the funeral, wondering aloud why someone who married into the Thorne family needed an inheritance. "This isn't about photos," Detective Holbrook said, her voice cutting through the silence. "Look what else she deleted." She pointed to a folder Dylan had recovered. Legal documents, all dated after my mother's death, all concerning the transfer of assets. But there was more: emails to lawyers I'd never contacted, inquiries about power of attorney, documents with my signature that I'd never signed. "She was trying to steal my inheritance," I whispered. "She was trying to steal your identity," Detective Holbrook corrected. "These recovered files show attempts to open credit cards in your name, applications for loans against your inherited property. The wedding photos were probably deleted to remove evidence of your signature, to make it easier to forge. Marcus had gone pale. This can't be right. Serena wouldn't. Your sister has been systematically preparing to defraud your wife, the detective interrupted. The only reason she hasn't succeeded yet is that she needed one more thing. Access to the physical deed to your mother's house, which I'm guessing you keep somewhere secure? I nodded numbly. In a safety deposit box. The bank requires. I stopped, a horrible realization washing over me. The bank requires 2 forms of ID. She was collecting my information to create fake identification. We need to bring her in for questioning, Detective Holbrook said, already reaching for her phone. Do you know where she might be right now? Marcus's phone buzzed. He looked at it, his face growing even paler. She's at the bank. She just texted asking if we could meet her there. Said she wants to apologize for yesterday and treat us to lunch. Detective Holbrook stood immediately. Which bank? First National, the branch on. Marcus's voice cracked. Oh God, that's where Lydia's safety deposit box is. The next 20 minutes were a blur. Detective Holbrook called for backup while we raced to the bank. I sat in the back of the police car, watching Marcus in the front seat, seeing the moment his blind loyalty to his sister finally shattered. We arrived to find Serena in the bank lobby, dressed professionally, a folder in her hands. She saw us through the glass doors, me, Marcus, and Detective Holbrook, and her carefully composed expression crumbled. Ma'am, I need you to step outside, Detective Holbrook said as we entered. I was just Marcus, tell them. I was just making a deposit. The bank manager approached nervously. Actually, Ms. Thorne was attempting to access a safety deposit box. She had documentation, but our new facial recognition system flagged her as not matching the account owner. Serena's perfectly manicured nails dug into her folder. This is a misunderstanding. I have power of attorney. Lydia gave me permission. I did no such thing, I said. Detective Holbrook held out her hand. I'll need to see that documentation. Serena clutched the folder tighter. I don't have to show you anything. Marcus, tell them. Show them the papers, Serena, Marcus said quietly. His sister stared at him. You're taking her side? I'm your family. So is my wife. The silence that followed was deafening. Serena's face cycled through emotions, betrayal, rage, and finally cold calculation. Fine, she said, thrusting the folder at Detective Holbrook. They're perfectly legal documents. The detective examined them carefully. These signatures. Mrs. Thorne, are these yours? I looked at the papers. Power of attorney forms, asset transfer authorizations, even a will leaving everything to Serena in the event of my death. All with my forged signature. No, I said. I've never seen these before. Serena Marie Thorne, Detective Holbrook said. You're under arrest for identity theft, fraud, and attempted grand larceny. As they handcuffed her, Serena's composure finally shattered completely. You don't understand, she screamed. She doesn't deserve it. Mom always said Marcus married down. That money should go to the real family, not some outsider who trapped him into marriage. Trapped? I laughed bitterly. Your brother proposed to me. Only because you got pregnant, she spat. Mom said. We don't have children, Marcus said, his voice hollow. We've been trying, but, he stopped, a horrible understanding dawning on his face. The medical records. You accessed her medical records. You knew we were having trouble conceiving. Serena's silence was admission enough. You were going to use that against us too, I said, the full scope of her plan becoming clear. Make it look like I was unstable, depressed about infertility. Maybe even suggest I was suicidal. That will you forged. You can't prove anything, Serena said, but her voice lacked conviction. Dylan stepped forward. Actually, I documented everything. Every login, every file accessed, every deletion. Digital forensics is quite precise. As the police led Serena away, she turned back one last time. Mom was right about you, she hissed at me. You'll never be good enough for this family. Your mother is in prison for tax evasion, I reminded her. Maybe being good enough for this family isn't something I should aspire to. Later that evening, Marcus and I sat in our living room, the weight of the day's revelations heavy between us. Dylan had managed to recover most of my wedding photos from the cloud backup Serena hadn't known about. They flickered across my laptop screen, moments of joy that now seemed to belong to different people. I'm sorry, Marcus said finally. I should have believed you. Should have seen what she was doing. Why didn't you? He was quiet for a long moment. Because believing you meant accepting that my family, the people who raised me, were capable of something monstrous. It was easier to think you were overreacting. And now I know that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who supports you, who has your back. He reached for my hand. I failed that test. But if you'll let me, I'd like to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I looked at our wedding photos, at my mother in her wheelchair, smiling despite her pain. She'd warned me about the thorns, gently, carefully. Just remember, sweetheart, she'd said. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. We need counseling, I said finally. Real counseling. Because your sister didn't do this alone. She felt empowered by your mother, enabled by your silence. That's a pattern that needs to break. Marcus nodded. Whatever it takes. My phone buzzed. Detective Holbrook's name appeared on the screen. Mrs. Thorne? I wanted to update you. We've found more. Your sister-in-law had files on 3 other family members who married into the Thorne family. Your case is helping us build a pattern of systematic fraud spanning over a decade. The FBI is now involved. After I hung up, I turned to Marcus. 3 others. She did this to 3 other people. His face crumbled. How did I not see it? Because you were trained not to, I said gently. But we see it now, and we're going to make sure it never happens again. As we sat there, surrounded by recovered photos and police reports, I realized something. Serena had tried to erase me, my photos, my history, my future. But in doing so, she'd revealed herself completely. Every deleted file, every forged document, every calculated cruelty was now evidence. She'd thought she was stealing my identity. Instead, she'd cemented my place in this family as the one who finally said enough. And that was a picture worth more than all the deleted photos in the world.